My family's still in Venezuela, and I've been looking forward to this day for so many years. Thank you, President Trump.
I'm so happy because now Venezuela is free.
Obviously, when Trump won the election, he did a victory speech, and there's one part from his victory speech that I feel is especially relevant today.
But we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
He said no wars, and his fans loved it. Trump has been crystal clear. No war, no sending American troops to foreign war. Let that man cook. I believe we will find true mastery in the art of the deal. Come tomorrow, my faith is in God. My trust is in Trump. Even Trump himself said, I'm especially proud to be the first president in decades who has started no new wars. Hey, we bombed Venezuela. No one's ever done that before. And this guy is bragging about how we bombed Venezuela. Also, Iran's president said that the country is in full-scale war with the U.S., Israel, and Europe. You realize we don't have to declare war on someone else. They can declare war on us. Although one could argue that some of our activities there would be like a declaration of war. At least that's how their president perceives it. In fact, in the year of our Lord 2025, the United States, and by that I mean the Trump administration, has bombed Iran, Yemen, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Somalia, Venezuela, and Nigeria. The no war guy did that. You know what might have been a clue? You know what might have given us some sort of hint or preview that this is how things were going to go down? When President Trump decided that it shouldn't be called the Department of Defense anymore, that it should be changed back to Department of War. We're in the business of war. The no war guy.
How many innocent people were killed in the middle of the night due to America's hunger for oil? Did you see how the Venezuelans were celebrating? You know, funny enough, I saw people celebrating, but also other people condemning this.
Venezuela. ¿Listo? Venezuela.
Al fin, señor, gracias. Gracias, mi Dios.
Congratulations, Venezuela is now owned by America. Wait until they find out they don't run their own country. Trump does, and their natural resources. It's all for resources. Sometimes you even think of it as being a curse to a country. Everything Trump did was illegal and purely because of oil, and not to free the Venezuelan people. Finally, Venezuela is free, but they don't know their oil is being milked for nothing in return.
¡Quiere rescatar a su presidente! ¡Así que no se equivoquen!
¡Viva Maduro! ¡Que viva! El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido.
USA is the biggest organization in the world, forever invading other countries, implementing regime change, and then stealing from them. As a Venezuelan, this is stupid. We're not free if we're not ruling our own country. Now the US is running our own country and already bringing in oil companies. Funny how they use the biggest enemies of the US is Iran and Venezuela, aka the countries with the most oil reserves in the world. This is coming from a literal Venezuelan who was born in Caracas, by the way. I'm from Libya. Can I tell you what happened to my country? That's someone you better listen to, because that is the exact situation that is going on right now as we speak. Word for word.
Bar for bar.
So Trump attacked Venezuela. The result was the capture of Venezuela's president, and Trump saying,
We're going to run the country.
now what would be his reason for doing this?
We're going to have our United States oil companies go in and start making money.
Or this, or this. But this is complicated, so let's look at this objectively. Venezuelans are rightfully celebrating the fall of their murderous dictator. He was an evil bastard who needed to go. But our last oil war should have taught us that removing a dictator with no real plan on what to do afterwards can backfire. Both things can be true at the same time. Look at this. That's how Iraqis initially celebrated the invasion of Iraq, and just a few years later,
Now, an effigy of President George W. Bush, his traitors pelted it with water bottles and sandals.
it's precisely what happens when you lie and you don't care about the country's people. And the fact that Trump has already lied about why he was there, lied to senators from both parties, spit in the face of the Democratic leader, appears to have left in place Maduro's people, and is already lining up billionaires to swipe their oil, is certainly not good. Oil wars don't have a good track record, and never underestimate Trump's ability to fuck things up. Food for thought.
No foreign president should ever have the power or audacity to capture the president of another nation. When I said I was nostalgic for the early 2000s, this is not what I meant.
I don't want my tax dollars going to benefit Exxon and Chevron. That's it. If you don't care about the life and livelihood of Venezuelans, then you should at the very least do the America First thing. And the America First thing in this circumstance is non-interventionism in Venezuela. Venezuela does not present an ever-present danger to the United States of America. Venezuela's never threatened the United States of America. Venezuela is just there. As a matter of fact, in spite of Venezuela never really seriously threatening the United States of America, that'd be ridiculous. They have no power here. We have endlessly tried to destabilize their economy, endlessly tried to coup their leadership over and over and over again. And the big part of the reason why we're doing that is because Venezuela actually nationalizes oil production in the same way that Norway was able to nationalize their entire extraction industries, not just oil, but their forest service as well. Having said that, that was unacceptable for our foreign capital, and we wanted more control over their oil. This doesn't actually trickle down any sort of wealth to the average American citizen. It doesn't do anything for the average Americans at all. As a matter of fact, it's actually an allocation of resources to permanent war for no fucking reason, as opposed to spending that money on ourselves, as opposed to fixing our broken infrastructure, funding our schools, funding healthcare, and numerous other initiatives. And instead of doing that, we are basically subsidizing the for-profit oil and gas giants here.
Everyone who has a hissy fit about the fact that Russia is trying to control its near abroad in Ukraine, and, oh, shock horror, he can't invade, oh, NATO's a defensive alliance, and blah, blah, blah. Just look at what the US is doing in Venezuela, and then come back to me and tell me that Russia is not doing exactly the same, enacting in its own interests in its near abroad to protect what it sees as its nation's self-interest. Tell me that it's not doing exactly the same thing. I mean, come on, be serious, give me a break.
Just because they are acting the same doesn't justify their actions. Nobody should view it as an excuse. It's not the same. The US doesn't want land in Venezuela, unlike Russia and Ukraine.
What are you saying?
If you support what happened to Venezuela, then you can't support Ukraine versus Russia. And you can't support Taiwan versus China. They are all superpowers acting in their own benefit. Now, because of the capture, it came with tons of backlash as well. Some people also were burning the US flag to show their disdain for what they did. It's looking bad.
The United States attack on Venezuela, the kidnapping of its president, is a gross breach of international law. And Australia needs to speak out as a middle country, a middle power, that has an interest in an international rules-based order. The United States under Donald Trump has now engaged in repeated gross breaches of international law. This attack on Venezuela is illegal. And unless Australia and like-minded countries speak out, it emboldens these kinds of actions. If the United States can launch an attack like this, can kidnap the leader of another country, and can do so without any consequences, well, that will embolden tyrants and dictators around the world and take us on a dystopian and dangerous path. There must be consequences for this action. Right now, Australia should be fundamentally reassessing its relationship with the United States, which was meant to be based on shared values and a shared belief in an international rules-based order. That relationship is now in tatters. Australia needs to be removing US bases from our soil, removing US troops from our country, and ending the dangerous gamble of AUKUS, which seeks to tie us to Donald Trump and the next US president, not for years, but for decades.
But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are with President Maduro getting captured. Leave your comments down below and let me know what you all think. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure you check out this video. I'm pretty sure you're definitely going to enjoy it. But nevertheless, I will see you guys when I see you. Peace.